All right, this is a quick introduction or lesson on writing a piecewise function. So on your notes page it says we know linear functions are in the form y equals mx plus b. So for these pieces we just need to find the m and the b. And then the only other type that we will focus on are absolute value functions. That form is here, y equals a, absolute value, x minus h plus k. For these pieces, remember we need to find the a, and then the vertex, the h and the k. So what it'll look like is f of x equals, bracket, and then your linear and absolute value functions will go here. It just depends on what your graph looks like. Remember, linear is a straight line, and absolute value is a v. And then on the back of it, your if will be your domain. Remember, if it has two numbers here, then it's like a segment, or maybe it's like a v like this. So it starts and it stops. Okay, so I'm just going to start with kind of an easy one here. Write a piecewise function for the graph shown. And then to find b, you may need to extend a piece so that it crosses the y-axis. So I typed some stuff on here. For this left piece, you got to find the slope, which is 1 if you look at it. Rise 1, run 1. And then the b is 2. In order to get that, you're going to have to extend this out where it touches the y-axis. That's a 2. So m is 1, b is 2. And then the domain, if you think about your spots where it splits and goes to a different graph. For this piece, this is -1. So it's x is less than -1. And then this is closed, so I want less than or equal to. So if I were going to write a function, do my f of x equals, put a bracket. For this green piece, it would be x, 1x or x plus 2, comma, if, and then your domain is x is less than or equal to -1. That would be the left piece. If I go to the middle piece, the slope, rise over run, is 1 again, and the y-intercept is 3. And this piece is a segment, so x is in between -1 and 1. That's your domain. With symbols, that would be -1, 1, put x in between there, and then you have less than symbols in both of those places, and they are both open. So both of those are just less thans. When you come up here, that piece would be 1x plus 3 if x is between -1 and 1. For the right piece, same thing, find the slope. Up 1, right 1, 1, 1. And then to get the y-intercept, you're going to need to extend that out. Just use the same slope that you just did. So b is 1. And that is if x is greater than or equal to 1. That's on this side. And it's equal to because it's closed. So we come to our function, x plus 1. If x is greater than or equal to 1. That is basically how you write a function for a piecewise graph. That would be your answer. Okay, so let's look at another one. Number 1, This would be on the back side of your paper at the top. You're supposed to write me a piecewise function, so just notice where it splits. The first piece, find the slope. Up 3 over 2. So m is 3/2. Extend that out. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's at 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So 5, and then up 3 more would be at 8. So your y-intercept is at 8. So if you didn't follow that, I took the slope and I just kept going. 3, 2, 3, 2, until I got to that y-intercept. So that would be 3/2 x plus 8 if it cuts it at 1, 2, 3, -4. So we are less than -4. It's open, so just less than -4. And the middle piece, it's horizontal, so the slope is 0. The y-intercept is -1. So when you write that down here, you don't have to put the 0x on it. You can just put -1 if. That one's a segment again. The lowest is -4. The highest x is 1. Put your x in the middle. It is greater than or equal to -4. It is less than 1. Done with that piece. And then your right piece, the slope is down 1, right 1, so -1. Extend that out, 1, 1. The y-intercept is 2. So x, this is negative for the slope, -x plus 2. If x is, we're at 1 and we're greater than or equal to, because that point is closed, greater than or equal to. Number 2 on the top of that back side is very similar. Each piece, you're going to want to find the slope and the y-intercept, and then this one on the right is an absolute value. So that one I'll kind of show you how to do. I'm going to zoom that in so maybe you can see better. All right, so number 2 on the right. Mark where we're splitting it here. So I'll start on the left. The slope here is 4, 3. Up 4 over 3. Okay, that makes it tricky to find the y-intercept. Because if you go up 4 over 3, you are kind of crossing in between here. So think of it this way. 4/3 is the same as 1 1/3. So instead of going up 4 over 3, what if I went up 1 1/3 over 1? 1 1/3, 1. So that would put me at 3 1/3. So that piece would be, always start with your f of x equals, remember? 4/3 x plus 3 1/3, comma, if, and then my domain is x is less than -1. middle piece, your slope is 0, your y-intercept is -1. So -1 if I'm going from -1 to +1. So we'll go -1, 1, put your x in the middle. It's less than 1. It's greater than or equal to -1. Remember, it's like you're reading that backwards. X is greater than or equal to -1. Last piece is an absolute value, so you need to find the A, the H, and the K. Remember, A is just like the slope. I'm going to start here at 1, 2. Remember, this one will be +1/2 because it opens up. If it opens down, that would be -1/2. So A is 1/2. And then your vertex is at 1, 2, 3, 0. So H is 3, K is 0. That would look like 1/2. Absolute value, x minus 3. And then if x is greater than or equal to, since it's closed, 1. 1 is coming from that x-axis number. Okay, the last thing you're going to do is write a piecewise function for a given scenario. This is actually very easy also. It says a company is selling personalized pencils. There is a $5 charge to set up the personalization. If you buy 50 or fewer, the cost is 49 cents per pencil. So this 50 or fewer, that's your domain. 49 cents per pencil would be 0.49x. So you're going to go f of x equals bracket. You have the $5 setup fee. So you want 5 plus, and then it's 49 cents per pencil. So 0.49x. If you want 50 or fewer pencils, so x is less than or equal to 50. I want you to keep in mind that you would not probably buy 0 pencils, because then why would you pay the setup fee? You can't buy negative pencils. Okay, so the least amount of pencils you're going to buy is 1. So you're going to want to put 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 50. Okay, the second scenario, you still have the $5 setup fee. And that one is 39 cents per pencil. So plus 0.39x. If you buy more than 50, less than 150. More than 50, less than 150. And then the last scenario, it says if you buy 150 or more, it's 29 cents per pencil and the setup fee is waived. So that means you don't have to pay the $5. So this would just be 0.29x if 150 or more, so x is greater than or equal to 150. Feel free to replay it, fast forward to the spots that you need more help with. Also feel free to come see me if you're still struggling with writing piecewise functions.